This is Michael Falkner, and it's showtime, the August 23rd, 2011 edition of the Weekly Podioplex, brought to you by The Chronic Rift. Last weekend's box office results start with number 10 and Crazy Stupid Love, down from last week's 9th. That spot was taken by new release One Day, premiering with $5 million against a $15 million budget. In 8th place is last week's 5th, 30 Minutes or Less. Coming in at 7th is Final Destination 5, down 4 places from 3rd. At 6th, we find new release Fright Night, with $7.7 million for a total of $8 million on a $30 million budget. At 5th place is last week's 4th, The Smurfs, pulling in $8 million for a total of $118 million. In 4th is new release Conan the Barbarian, starting its run with $10 million against a $90 million budget. 3rd place brings us Spy Kids, All the Time in the World, premiering with $12 million against a $27 million Aromascope budget. In 2nd is last week's winner with Rise of the Planet of the Apes, adding another $16 million to its $134 million total. And the leader this week is last week's runner-up, The Help, with a box office total of $71 million after this week's $20 million take. This week's new releases don't appear too spectacular, do they? Spy Kids is the worst performing movie in its franchise, which is being attributed mostly to the 8-year delay between the installments. The $12 million take was even worse than last summer's Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore. Conan the Barbarian didn't fare much better, joining the ranks of Cole the Conqueror, The Last Legion, and The 13th Warrior as August fantasy flops. The original 1982 version had a similar box office take at $9.6 million, but it had triple the attendance numbers. The failure here is being attributed to marketing, which focused on the name brand and not the substance. The box office takes of the Fright Night remake and the One Day speak for themselves. Meanwhile, the tale for the last couple weeks continues with The Help recovering from a brief slip to regain the lead at the box office, with Rise of the Planet of the Apes hanging in for a close second. August 26th is going to try to shake up those box office numbers with a handful of wide releases, beginning with Our Idiot Brother, a comedy starring Paul Rudd, Elizabeth Banks, and Zooey Deschanel.
Mr. Washburn, how you doing today?
Listen, Ned, you wouldn't happen to know where I can get some,
Even if I did, do you really think I'd tell you?
It's been a hard week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Here you go, officer.
Hey, thanks, man. Wow.
Hey, I'm Ned. They let me go early. Yeah, I won most cooperative inmate 4 months running.
God, Ned just showed up.
You said your door was always open. Well, I gotta get back to work on the Tumyan.
What?
It's a cross-pollination between a tomato and onion. Think of the time it'll save when you're making spaghetti sauce.
He's family. Can't just turn my back on him for no reason.
Where did you go? I need to find you.
I never wanted him here, filling the kids' heads with stupidity.
Check it out.
Can't one of you just take him, please?
What's wrong with my sister? She's pretty, but she's bossy.
Tell me exactly what he said.
He said that your personality gets in the way of your looks. Your very good looks.
Dude, do you have Tourette's? She's open to pretty much anyone. She even slept with our cousin once.
Our idiot brother just ruined my freaking life.
I like to think that if you put your trust out there, if you really give people the benefit of the doubt, see their best intentions, can you hold this? People will rise to the occasion.
You know, I think it's a really good way to live your life.
If I could love something as much as Ned loves everything, you wouldn't be such a bitch.
Then you wouldn't be such a slut.
Who's the man, Ned?
Yeah, I'm the man.
Louder!
I'm the man.
Yes! Come on!
I try and do good, but I just screw it up. On top of it all, I broke down and smoked with the kid that lives across the street from me.
Okay, I didn't just hear that.
I said I broke down, I went and smoked with the kid that lives across the street from me.
You don't tell your parole officer that you just got high. Oh, man.
Can you forget I said that?
Our Idiot Brother is a comedy centered on an idealist who barges into the lives of his 3 sisters, and is rated R. Next up is Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, a horror thriller starring Katie Holmes, Guy Pearce, and Bailey Madison.
Sally, what do you think? We worked really hard to get it ready.
This house is unsafe for a child.
Who are you?
Her name is Sally.
I don't like it here.
You just had a nightmare.
I'll be right here.
Where's my doll? They don't like bright lights, you know. They're horrible.
Who, Sally?
Those things.
We want to be your friend. Get the light. Get the light.
Sally!
Why was that room sealed up? Something terrible happened in that basement.
Get her out of the house.
What are you?
What are we? We want it.
Don't tell me you believe this.
Just because you keep denying it does not mean it's not happening.
We want it. We want it. We want it.
Don't be afraid of the dark.
A young girl sent to live with her father and his new girlfriend discovers creatures in her new home that want to claim her as one of their own. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark is rated R. Next up is Colombiana, an action-adventure drama starring Zoe Saldana, Michael Vartan, and Colin Blue.
Hey, buddy. Got the good stuff. Put your hands on the car! Put your hands on the car! Think this is funny?
No, sir! No, sir!
Catalea. Never forget where you came from. Get ready. Just remember where you came from.
Who are you?
Not from the service.
There's 22 murders in the last 4 years.
I'm doing this my way.
Catalea, why?
You know why.
She's going after us. She's just a girl. Take care of it.
I don't know if something or someone hurt you before.
Find her! Look everywhere!
Talk to me.
What do you want to know?
Anything. Something about you.
I was 9 when my parents were killed.
Never forget where you came from.
I will not stop until you feel what I felt all these years. And now I'm going to finish it.
Never forget where you came from.
A young woman who, after witnessing her parents' murder as a child in Bogota, grows up to be a stone-cold assassin. Colombiana is rated PG-13. And to round out our wide-release slate, we have Circumstance, a drama starring Sarah Kazemi, Nicole Boucheri, and Reza Sifai. A wealthy Iranian family struggles to contain a teenager's growing sexual rebellion and her brother's dangerous obsession. Circumstance is rated R. In limited release, we have Higher Ground, a drama starring Vera Farmiga, Joshua Leonard, and Dagmara Domzig. Higher Ground is a chronicle of one woman's lifelong struggle with her faith and is rated R. August 23rd's new DVD and Blu-ray releases kick off with Troll Hunter, a comedic adventure fantasy starring Otto Jesperson and Robert Stoltenberg. A group of students investigate a series of mysterious bear killings, but learn that there are much more dangerous things going on. They start to follow a mysterious hunter and learn that he's actually a troll hunter. Troll Hunter is rated PG-13. Next up is Win-Win, a comedy drama starring Paul Giamatti, Amy Ryan, and Jeffrey Tambor. A struggling lawyer and voluntary wrestling coach's chicanery comes back to haunt him when the teenage grandson of a client he's double-crossed comes into his life. Win-Win is rated R. The slate rounds out with Blitz, a crime drama starring Jason Statham, Luke Evans, and Aidan Gillen. A tough cop is dispatched to take down a serial killer who has been targeting police officers. Blitz is rated R. Moving on to TV on DVD, we start with The Event, the complete series, starring Jason Ritter, Sarah Romer, and Ian Anthony Dale. When a man goes looking for his missing girlfriend, he stumbles upon a government conspiracy that is bigger than the president himself. Next up is NCIS Season 8 with Mark Harmon and Mark Weatherly, and NCIS Los Angeles Season 2, starring Chris O'Donnell and Daniela Roa. These two releases are the continuing spin-offs from the Navy lawyer series JAG that profile stories about the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. And finally we have Gossip Girl Season 4 starring Blake Lively, Leighton Meester, and Penn Badgley. Based on the Alloy Entertainment's book series, Gossip Girl tells the story of privileged teenagers who attend an elite private school in New York City. We also have 3 classics coming to Blu-ray, starting with Rounders, a crime drama from 1998 starring Matt Damon, Edward Norton, and Paul Cicero. The young man is a reformed gambler who must return to playing big-stakes poker to help a friend pay off loan sharks. Rounders is rated R. Next is Swingers, a comedic drama from 1996 starring Vince Vaughn, Heather Graham, and Jon Favreau. Wannabe actors become regulars in the stylish Neo Lounge scene, and Trent teaches his friend Mike the unwritten rules of the scene. Swingers is rated R. And last we have Hostage, a crime drama from 2005 starring Bruce Willis, Kevin Pollak, and Serena Scott Thomas. Based on the Robert Crace novel, a failed police negotiator turned small-town cop must save the lives of a family held hostage, which draws him into a much more dangerous situation. Hostage is rated R. Let's finish this off with the quick flicks. Okay, so what I told you last week about the Lone Ranger wasn't exactly true. I mean, it was at the time, but now, not so much. Gore Verbinski and producer Jerry Bruckheimer are making a few script changes and fee cuts to knock the Disney Western from its $250 million price tag. The end goal is a mere $200 million. The cuts include fees for both Verbinski and Jerry Bruckheimer, some supernatural elements including werewolves, yes, I said werewolf, and a bunch of trains. More to follow as it comes. As part of open casting calls, Warner Brothers has released the official plot synopsis for Superman, Man of Steel. There's not much new or spoilery in the synopsis, especially if you've been following any coverage or are familiar with the franchise at all. But if you want to skip this, move ahead about 30 seconds or so. The official synopsis reads as follows. In the pantheon of superheroes, Superman is the most recognized revered character of all time. Clark Kent, / Kal-El, played by Henry Cavill, is a young 20-something journalist who feels alienated by powers beyond anyone's imagination. Transported to Earth years ago from Krypton, an advanced alien planet, Clark struggles with the ultimate question, why am I here? Shaped by the values of his adoptive parents, Martha and Jonathan Kent, played by Diane Lane and Kevin Costner, Clark soon discovers that having super abilities means making very difficult decisions. But when the world needs stability the most, it comes under attack. Will his abilities be used to maintain peace, or ultimately used to divide and conquer? Clark must become the hero known as Superman, not only to shine as the world's last beacon of hope, but to protect the ones he loves. And finally, how would you like a 5th Rambo film? Yes, writer, actor, director Sylvester Stallone did say last year that, quote, Rambo's pretty well done, I don't think there'll be any more, unquote. But Sean Hood, screenwriter on Conan the Barbarian, says he's met a few times with Stallone and he's completed the first draft of Rambo Last Stand. The script hasn't been signed by Stallone, but it's based on an older screenplay written by the actor as inspiration for the last chapter in the Vietnam veteran saga. Hood claims that it's more in line with the small-town thriller like First Blood, but Stallone is busy with projects like Bullet to the Head and Expendables 2. If the other Stallone franchise is any indication, once he's got a story to tell, we'll get more sequels to tell them. If you want to discuss anything you heard on this week's edition, please take a moment to get in touch. You can surf on over to chronicriff.com and leave a note in the forums. Leave a voicemail at 888-866-9010 or write to John at chronicriff.com. You can also find the Weekly Podioplex and the Chronic Rift on Facebook. If you decide to pick up any of this week's new releases, why not do it through our Amazon store? You get the newest entertainment at Amazon's low prices and high-quality service, and each purchase you make through the store supports the Chronic Rift. Look for the link in our show notes. The Weekly Podioplex is a collaboration of Creative Criticality and Lucky Shot Productions. This is Michael Falkner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you at the theater.